All right, we're live.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, I want everybody listening to this right now to know that I'm honored to be doing this webinar class or stream class for Hometown Heroes with my friend Lee Brickey with Real Brokers. I haven't known Lee a long time, but what I've gotten to know about Lee, I've really liked a lot, and I'm going to tell you, he's a man of great character. Lee was with Century 21, then he's with KW, and he went over to Real Brokers in November. Lee, tell me something. What caused you to move over to Real Brokers? I see a lot of big players moving over there right now.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking, Bruce. Thanks for doing this with me. I'm really honored to be a part of this with you. This is a great program we're about to talk about. As you know, my son's a cop, and we're getting him going right now. So this is dear to my heart, and I know there's a lot of young people out there that are first-time buyers that this program's really, really going to help. That
It's
are
going to be amazing. It's going to be
serving our
amazing.
community
We're going
every
to
day.
talk a lot about the different aspects of Hometown Heroes. Um, but before we get into that, like I said, I've seen a lot of big real
Right.
estate agents moving over to Real Brokers. You moved over in November. What's one big high point that really made you move over there?
Well, I started a YouTube channel about a year and a half ago. It's been a little over a year and a half ago. We're approaching 2,000 subscribers right now, and it's been a great thing for us because we've been able to serve a lot of people with our YouTube channel, help a lot of buyers and sellers that aren't even our clients that sometimes reach out to me and ask for a different advice. But it's been a great way to communicate with clients and bring them into the state. And Real Broker is a group of really mostly influencers that have built their real estate business from YouTube, social media, etc. And in the beauty of the brokerage is it really puts the client first, where and everybody works together to create a better experience for our clients. And that's the real thing in real estate. Nobody helps each other. When you're in an office, you might have 200 agents in that office, and no one's really working with each other and helping them and giving them any advice because they're holding that close to their
Sure.
chest. But with this company, we're on calls with agents all over the United States. I'm on calls every day, and everybody's helping each other grow. And so
Right.
even the young agent that's coming on is getting a helping hand from an agent. Like, we know some of them up in Orlando, like Ken Pozak, who, he's done 500 transactions this year, and that guy's reaching down and helping the new agent get off the ground. And it's the culture. It just really
Absolutely.
is. It's the
That
culture.
Well, and also, like you said, the social media aspect of it is been really refreshing. I was able to sponsor an event with you early last month, and we had over 130 agents there from all different brokerages. And I have to tell you, I learned a lot from all the presenters in there, and it was great. So you've been in real estate now for 8 years. You've been with Real Broker for since November. Um, you used to be a house flipper, right?
Right.
You used to
Right.
flip houses, right?
Yep.
And right now, your primary coverage area is Jupiter, Palm Beach County, and the Treasure Coast. That's really where you're serving primarily right now.
Correct. Correct.
Great. Great. Well, listen, I think it's time we get into Hometown Heroes and talk about why we're passionate about this and how we can help a lot of heroes out there. The heroes aren't wearing capes out there. They are the people that are out grinding it out and keeping our streets safe and us healthy and teaching our children. So let's talk a little bit about that. Um,
Before we do that, Bruce, let's tell everybody who you are and what you do, and why you're doing this program. Because one thing is you've been in the mortgage business like 30 years, haven't you?
yep, 33
Right.
years.
And you're known as the loan arranger. I love that one, man. I'm a Texas boy. I love the cowboy in you. That's awesome. One of the things I think really clicked with me is the cowboy hat and the boots. And today, what we're going to talk about with you is how this program is working for Hometown Heroes, who benefits from the program, how they can get involved. But one of the things I'm really interested in, I know you have this radio show, you're on Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, and we're going to leave all of your information so people can find you in the comment section below, but in the information section below, sorry. But one of the things I want to ask you is, why are not more lenders doing this, Bruce? Because you're really stepping out and making this a huge priority in your business right now. And I'm not seeing it happen in many lenders.
Well, I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is that lenders really don't make much money doing this. Not they wouldn't they would make about a quarter of uh the compensation that they would make on a typical transaction. So a lot of them want to shy away from it or even discourage people from doing it by putting fear tactics in their mind. Personally, I think if we can give back to heroes, it's going to be better for everybody. But lenders don't get compensated that much. It's a Florida bond type program, and it's a lot more work for a lender typically to meet those requirements in order to get the hero some down payment assistance money. And I think that a lot of people are just short sighted and really just don't see where, can you get over your paycheck for just a minute and help more people that really are providing a safe environment for all of us and providing services that we all truly need. So I think that may be one of them. And then other ones just may not be signed up to be able to work with Florida housing. And it does take some certain requirements, and you have to be certified with them. But other than that, it's not that difficult. But I think that, Lee, in all honesty, I think a lot of lenders shy away from it or discourage people because they're more concerned about themselves than they are about the hero.
Well, that's why I grabbed your card that day and said, "Hey, let's get to know each other and talk," because I'm all about serving people first in my business, and the money will come. But right now we're going to go through why we're doing this program, but that is why I think that you're such a great man, and this is a great program that you're doing, is because you're really out here serving people. So let's
That's
roll
very
into
kind of you.
this.
Let's roll, baby. So, why hometown heroes and why it's important today? Let's go on to that next slide because I want to talk a little bit about that. So, we all know that home prices have been rising, right? For the last 3 years, they've been going up at 20%. And, a lot of folks right now, Lee, are saying, "Hey, I think I might wait to get in the market because houses may be pulling back in price a little bit." So, it's really interesting because in the central Florida area, which is a little out of your area, but I looked at your numbers, they're not really any different than ours are here. And that you're seeing home prices dropping by 2.2%. But how could houses drop by 2.2% when they're actually up 16.7% year to date? Now, there's a reason for that because houses are coming down in price only because sellers aren't able to get over what they're worth like they were in the past. So they're
Exactly.
becoming more realistic about their price. So houses really aren't dropping in price. They're actually up 16%, which is unbelievable amount of appreciation. So don't get caught up in the drop. In my opinion, it actually adds uh, another layer of reasons to get into the market right now if you're currently renting. And rents have become unreachable for people. I mean, I don't know about in all areas of Florida and different states that people are listening to this, but in Florida, I'm seeing rents increasing on average about 20%. And in some cases, in some areas, I've seen it as high as 50% increase for rents. So that made it more difficult for a tenant to save money because if they're putting more money toward rent, they find it more challenging. How are you going to save money when the cost of gas is up, the cost of groceries is up, the living expenses up, and your rent went up? It's harder to save money. So this program allows for some down payment assistance, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Let's go on to the next click there, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. So as a result of all of these reasons, it made it difficult for home buyers to get into the market. Now, here's the thing. Um, a lot of people just don't have the capital to pay over ask price or waive appraisals like they have been in the last 3 years. Because as you can imagine, how does a first time home buyer waive an appraisal right and waive a home inspection and pay over ask price? Well, somebody that was selling a home, Lee, as you well know, made a ton of money when they sold the house, right? So
Right.
they could afford to pay over ask price because they were probably getting over ask price on the one they were selling,
Right.
right?
Well, we had so
So,
many people coming, especially in our markets coming up from South Florida, Miami-Dade areas, coming to Palm Beach County into the St. Lucie West and St. Lucie area. And then, then you have all these people coming in from different states where they're selling their houses for way more than they're buying here. So their
and they were
cash
getting
or
it. They were getting
yeah,
it,
and they're
right?
getting it. Yeah.
So now it's settled back down. It's settled down. We went from about 3 weeks supply of inventory to about 6 or 7 weeks supply. But here's the reason, getting back on track for this. The first time home buyer couldn't waive appraisals. They couldn't waive home inspections. Hit that clicker for me, if you wouldn't mind. Sellers were unwilling to do repairs. They were unwilling to pay closing costs. Interest rates had gone up in the last couple of years, and it just made home ownership a little less affordable as interest rates continued to rise. So those were all the reasons that made it challenging. But now that Hometown Heroes is here, I want to talk a little bit about who qualifies for this. So this is for our true heroes: law enforcement, firefighters, educators, meaning teachers. You have to be a certified or licensed teacher. You could be a paraprofessional, but you still have to be licensed and full time. Healthcare professionals, nurses, home health care, even massage therapists, child care workers, as long as they're certified for child care, and active military, retired military, and veterans all qualify for this. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the extra bonus that military and VA eligible clients would have as well. So eligibility for Florida employees. So let's just talk about how many people that we are able to help. So protective services occupations for law enforcement and firefighters, there's 255,000 people that are available. In the educational system, there's almost 400,000. You got child care is 45,000 child care workers that'll qualify for this. Healthcare practitioners like physicians, so 563,000, and then other healthcare workers for physicians and nurses that are outside of that field, another 285,000. Then we're looking at veterans, are 1,000,005 veterans that are eligible for this program. That's a total of over 3 million people that will qualify for Hometown Heroes. Let's talk a little bit about the program. All right. So here's the requirements of this program. First of all, you have to be a first-time home buyer. What does a first-time home buyer mean? It doesn't mean you've never owned a house. It just means that you have not owned a primary residence within the last 3 years. So let's just say, and this is better than any down payment assistance program that I've seen on the market, because what a typical DPA program says, Lee, is that you cannot have owned any real property, including if your grandmother deeded you on a lot in Minnesota and you were on the deed to that lot. You don't qualify for down payment assistance. That doesn't come into play for Hometown Heroes. You just can't have owned a primary. So let's just say we had a divorce situation, okay? An unfortunate situation. But we have one spouse that moved out of the house and the other spouse kept the house. The spouse that moved out of the house, provided they have not lived in that house and can prove that for 3 years, qualifies for this, even though they're still on deed to a home. That's beyond any down payment assistance program that I've ever seen. So that really comes into play. So
Absolutely.
Right. So now veterans, here's the thing I was going to tell you about veterans, Lee, because this really juices me, because not only do I love helping heroes, but our veterans are heroes at an extreme level, and
Exactly.
they can own a primary residence currently and still get this program and combine it with VA. They don't have to be a first-time home buyer. So there's an exception to that rule.
And what's really great right now, Bruce, I just want to throw this in here, is VA, and you know this, VA and FHA have been almost impossible to get done, and any kind of grant deal has been almost impossible to get done for the last 2 years. I
Well,
mean, we've got
sellers just weren't accepting it.
they
They
weren't
had too many
accepting it,
other
right?
opportunities, right?
And now with the market starting to normalize, and we're seeing some deceleration in the market, we're able to do this again.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Now, you must be able to permanently reside in the state of Florida. That's one rule. Then you must occupy the property that you're purchasing as a primary residence, and you have to occupy it within 60 days of the closing. Now, you can own a mobile home as long as you don't own the land. You're still considered a first-time home buyer. So if you own a mobile home and you're renting the land, you're still a first-time home buyer in the eyes of hometown heroes. So now tax returns are not required on this program. Like most down payment assistance programs, even if you are W-2'd, you don't need your tax returns for hometown heroes. If you're self-employed, you do. If you're 1099, you do. But the reason other down payment assistance programs required it, Lee, is so that they could truly drill down on what your real income was and whatever you were showing and how many dependents you had, because all of those things come into play with a typical down payment assistance program. And there's a lot more exceptions to hometown heroes. So there are minimum credit scores. You have to have a minimum credit score of 640. If you're buying a manufactured home, a 680. Now, here at CrossCountry Mortgage, if your score is under that, allow me the opportunity to help you boost it. We do that all the time. And in most cases, you don't need to join some type of credit repair program. Matter of fact, if you're considering it, or you're one of those people that say, I just don't want to talk to the lender because I got some things to fix on my credit, don't do that. I can fix it faster than you. I guarantee you. So come to
Absolutely.
me and I'll show you how to do it. Right?
Absolutely.
Now, another thing that Hometown Heroes offers, Lee, that I really like is that you can have a non-purchasing spouse and they're not required to be a first-time home buyer. So let's just say you got remarried and your spouse owns a home and they are not going to go on Hometown Heroes. You can qualify on your own. It's fine. You can do that. Let's go to the next slide. Terms and conditions. All right. So Hometown Heroes will provide the hero up to 5% of the total loan amount. Now, that's different than a lot of down payment assistance programs because they provide funds based on the purchase price. Hometown Heroes is based on the loan amount. And when I say total loan amount, that means I could include the FHA upfront mortgage insurance, or USDA guarantee upfront, or VA funding fee upfront. So I can include all that in the loan, and the hero can get up to 5% of that, up to a maximum of $25,000. Now, the funds can be used for closing costs, reduce your down or increase your down payment, reduce the loan amount, or escrows. You cannot use it to buy down interest rates.
Okay.
All right. So there's no minimum contribution from the hero. This again, completely different than your typical down payment assistance program, because most DPA programs require skin in the game from the person that's applying for the down payment assistance, meaning that most of them require 1.75% of the buyer's out of pocket to show skin in the game. Some are $1,500 minimum, some are $500 minimum. Hometown Heroes, you don't really have to have any of your money into the deal. If you can get into the house for no money, and the Hometown Heroes contribution will will cover all the closing costs and all the prepaids and your down payment. You don't need any of your own money. It's not a requirement.
And we're going to talk about how they can get more money in a little bit. So they want to stay with us on this.
Yep. I know you've got an incentive here for them as well. So now, the heroes funds that they get are a second mortgage, but they are a silent second mortgage, and it's interest free. So there's no payments to be made on it. All right. And heroes funds are just like using your own funds. They're your down payment, their closing costs, their escrows. You could pay single premium mortgage insurance or split premium. You could use it to pay your FHA or VA funding fee. I typically don't recommend that because I would rather reduce the principal than pay a funding fee. I think you get more bang for your buck, but we're willing to analyze every hero's individual circumstances to make sure that we're tailoring this so that it best serves them. All right, seller concessions and realtor credits are allowed. So in other words, if you've got a hero, and let's just say that it's a $375,000 transaction, and we're getting about $18,000 from Hometown Heroes, you could still ask the seller to pay closing costs as long as they fall within the guidelines of the program or the type of loan that the client is applying for. For instance, if you're putting less than 10% down on a conventional loan, the seller can only pay up to 3%. FHA is only up to 6%, but you could still negotiate that. Now, why would we want to do that? I'll tell you why we want to do that. Because let's just say you're able to negotiate $5,000 in closing costs from a seller. Well, that gives me, and let's say I'm getting 18,000 from Hometown Heroes. Well, I can use the seller contributions to cover the closing costs and use more of the hero contributions to reduce the loan amount to make the payment more attractive. So you can do it. I mean, it benefits all the way around. Now, the hero cannot get cash back. So in other words, if the hero's money is bringing them to the table with little to no money down, okay, and they put a $5,000 earnest money deposit, they can't get money back from the hero. All right. Any extra money has to go to reduce the principal. So if they put $1,000 escrow down, they can get the $1,000 back. But any more than that has to go to reduce principal. All right. So here's something else that's amazing about this program. And I mean, over the top amazing. So no down payment assistance program that I've ever seen in 33 years in this business has allowed for a non-occupying co-borrower, meaning like a co-signer. So let's just say we have a nurse, and let's just say the nurse is a she, and she's buying a home, and she's able to get Hometown Heroes money, but her debt to income ratio is exceeding the limits just a little bit. But mom and dad live in Michigan, and mom and dad own a home. So they're not first-time home buyers. They're presently homeowners. They can co-sign or co-borrow with the Hometown Hero, and I can still make that deal work. No down payment assistance allows for non-occupying co-borrowers. Only this one.
Never existed.
Never.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So non-occupying co-signer, also, they don't have to take the home buying class. All right. Only the borrower must attend the home buying class and not the co-signer. The certificate is good for 2 years. So once you've attended the class, and I can link you up to all of the online classes to take, it's good for 2 years once you've taken it. But listen, there is a misconception, and I want to be careful with anybody listening to this. Do not enroll in the down payment assistance class until I've pre-approved you for your financing. I have seen people spend a weekend going to a class or an 8-hour class and then find out later that they don't qualify. Don't waste your time. Get qualified, then we'll get you into the right class. Now, loan must have an initial approval within 45 days of the reservation. So let's just put this in perspective, okay?
Bruce, I'm going to kick in on that last one too. You know,
Please.
a lot of people will wait, you know, because I'm not buying for 6 months or a year. You don't want them to wait. You want them to go ahead and get in touch with you so that, you know, you can look at everything, look at their credit and make sure that they're qualifying for this, because they can go ahead and go do the class and start getting ready to buy.
Absolutely. Well, and that's highly recommended because, first of all, we don't want somebody that thinks they qualified to get in a real estate agent's car and then find out later that it's embarrassing that they didn't qualify. Okay. Listen, there's no judgment here, zero judgment. Believe me, I've seen worse than you are that are listening to this right now. I've fixed a lot of problems over the years. My job is to make sure that I get you in a position so you can be a strong buyer. Now, the loan, once you've gotten pre-qualified and then Lee writes the contract and you're in contract, me, the lender, has to have that to Florida Housing for Hometown Heroes within 45 days of reserving it. So as soon as you're in contract, we go on and reserve the funds for you to get from Hometown Heroes. Now, I have 45 days to do that and 60 days to close. The buyer can combine down payment assistance programs, but they all have to meet requirements. Now, I recently closed one with City of Orlando and Hometown Heroes. I'm telling you, it's super tricky. Don't just jump into that. Hometown Heroes is likely enough. You don't need to combine both programs, but the program does allow for it. The difference is let's just say, Lee, that we combine that with Palm Beach County down payment assistance program, right? And Palm Beach County says you have to have 1.75% into the transaction, but Hometown Heroes doesn't. You have to meet all the requirements. So that would mean you would have to have that, and you could not have a cosigner, and your debt ratios are more limited. And there's a lot of restrictions on that. So I don't like combining them, but if we need to, we'll entertain that. All right, so let's look at some real numbers here so people can, really grasp onto this. So we talked about the hero is eligible for 5% of the total loan amount up to $25,000. Okay, let's put some numbers together and see what that looks like. So let's take a 375 price. Okay, now we're going to do an FHA loan first for 3.5%. If we did an FHA loan, 3.5% down, the hero would get 5% of the total loan amount, which would equate to about $18,187. Okay, so now we got 375 price. Your down payment on 375 with 3.5% down for FHA is $13,125. Okay, now closing costs and escrows would equate to about $9,300. Okay. Now, also keep in mind, Hometown Heroes sets the interest rate. Lenders have no control over it. It's a Hometown Heroes price, and that's what you get. Okay. So that puts your total cash to close for a typical buyer not receiving any outside funds for about $22,456. So you want to buy a house? You're going FHA, it's 375, expect to pay about 22.5. Now, we're getting Hometown Heroes, so we're getting 18,187 for Hometown Heroes, which leaves your cash to close at about $4,269. So let me tell you something. I've never seen where you can get into a 375 house for $4,269. Okay. Hit that next button. Let's look at some payments. So your first mortgage payment, there is no second mortgage payments, about $2,100. Then you've got your homeowner's insurance, your taxes, your mortgage insurance. In this case, it says PMI, but it's actually MIP for $255. That would put your total payment at about $2,900 for a 375 house for $4,200 out of pocket. How can you go wrong with that? And Lee, you're going to show them how you might be able to get that down even a little bit lower in just a minute. But now let's compare that with a conventional loan. Okay. So let's take a 375 price. Okay. Let's do a 3% down. You're still getting about 18,187. Okay. Now we got a 375 price. Let's hit that button. We got a down payment now of 11,250. Closing costs still about 9,400 bucks. Your total cash on a 3% conventional loan at 375 is about 20,700 bucks. Okay. Now we're getting 18,187 from Hometown Heroes. You're out of pockets 2,526 bucks. Come on. How can you get a house for 375 for 2,500 bucks, you guys? If you're a hero and you're listening to this right now, stop what you're doing and go to webringyouhome.com and apply for a mortgage immediately. It's the best way to do it. Let's go on and look at some payments on here. Payments on that would be about $23.29. You got your homeowner's insurance at $150, your taxes at $390, your PMI at $113. Your total payment on that is about $2,900 to $3,000, depending on taxes and insurance. Okay, no brainer. No brainer. Come on, you're going to pay for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment $2,100.
Easy.
2,100, and you get nothing to show for it. You have nothing at the end of the year. That's $25,000 that you're paying in rent, and you have zero to show for it. Let's go to the next slide, because I want to show you now how to get the $25,000. So I had to really play with these numbers, Lee. So 515.5 with a 3% down program gets the Hometown Hero $25,000. Let's look at the numbers on this. So we got a purchase price of $515,500. Your down payment would be $15,500. Your closing costs would be about $11,100. Your total cash to close is $26,600. We're going to get Hometown Heroes at $25,000. Your cash to close is $1,670. Come on.
Unbelievable.
$1,670 for a $500,000 house. Lee,
Unbelievable.
it's incredible. Let's look at some payments on a $500,000 house. So you got a $3,200 mortgage payment. You got insurance. You got taxes on top of that. You have a little bit of PMI on top of that for $150. You've got a $4,000 payment, including everything, for a $500,000 house, and you're out of pocket $1,670. It's insanity. It's insanity. All right, let's look at real quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but these are the income limits. You'll see the left-hand column shows the county. Right next to it shows how much money you can have in household income and still qualify for this program. Much higher.
Much higher.
Typical down payment assistance program, you're going to be somewhere around $65,000. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, Hometown Heroes funds. I hear this is a negative. I don't think it's a negative, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, Hometown Heroes funds, like bond programs, are hang on for me just one second. They're non-forgivable. Okay, so I want to talk about that because it's important. Because some people say, well, why would I get into a home and use Hometown Heroes if I have to pay it back? When do you have to pay it back? You have to pay it back if you decide to rent the house, because it's no longer a primary residence. You have to pay it back if you move out of the house. You have to pay it back if you sell the house. You have to pay it back if you pay off the mortgage. Now, I want to put this in perspective. Since it's non-forgivable, and let's just say that you got that 375 house, because that's a median sales price for us. Would you agree with that?
Median
375 to 390. We're at a median sales price. I think we're speaking to the bulk of the audience at that price point. So let's just look at some appreciation at 5%. Now, Lee, push one button. At 5% appreciation. Now, I want to ask you, do you recall how much money the hero got on a 375 house? You remember?
370. What? Oh, 18,500.
$18,187.
181. Yeah.
So if that house only went up by 5% in appreciation in 1 year, you made back your 18,750. So other than that, the house would have gone up at 16%, triple the amount of $18,000.
Yeah, and
It
if
had gone up
anybody watches
55.
my channel and you're looking at the Florida and the numbers we've been showing over the last, 3, 4 months, even with the market starting to normalize, 2018, 2019, most of Florida was moving at 3 to 5%. Some places in Florida are moving at 10 to 10%, like Port
You're
St.
right.
Lucie market. So, you're going to get this appreciation back no matter what.
For sure. And you know what? We can make money at 3%. Like I'm into the market. If I can get a 3% appreciation, I'm good with that. If I can get 5, I'm great. If I can get over 5, it's bonus money for everybody. It doesn't pay to rent when you can make a 5% appreciation. All right. So at the end of year 2, your house has gone up another $19,000. So the house for 375 is now worth 413. Let's just scroll through to the end of this one. I don't want to spend too much time because at 5% appreciation, 5 years from now on the 375 house that you got, if it only goes up by 5%, is now worth 479. I mean, who 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 would not buy a home when you can make that? And right now, again, we're at 16%. Let's throw a next slide in there. Well, we broke even on year 2, right?
Right.
All right. At the end of year 1, available programs are FHA, VA, USDA. I don't care for USDA in this program only because it you have to meet USDA guidelines, and it's easier for me to take a client on FHA than it is USDA. So I'm not big on it. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I've analyzed it and I see better opportunities. Of course, conventional loans for Fannie and Freddie are available. This is considered what they call a TBA or a non-bond fund alternative. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Combine Hometown Heroes with the Loner Ranger Real Estate Rebate Program. Tell us about the Loner Ranger Real Estate Rebate Program.
All right, so that's with us. So if you get into the Hometown Heroes program with this, here's what you get. You're going to get the exceptional service from Bruce's office, the Loner Ranger, and his team. Although you have a vetted, trusted real estate agent with us, we handpick Bruce to do
I
this.
handpicked.
Bruce handpicked us to help him with this program. We're well versed in the program. We're super excited about it. And we're obviously, if you watch our channel, we're experts in our markets right now.
Yep.
So what we do on the side to help you close with no closing costs is we'll pay you 25% of our commission to the borrower. So
Right.
at the table, we will give you a credit from our commission of 25%. So you're walking into a house for zero down, zero money.
Well, you think about that. If you had a buy side commission on a 375 house at 3%, and you gave them 25% of that, that is $2,800. Okay.
Right.
You're into the house for no money down. No money down. So let's get started on this and help more heroes. Let's go to the next slide real quick, because I want to thank you at this point for allowing me the opportunity to not only work with you and help your clients, but reach out to so many heroes out there that really need this. And I'm going to tell you something. Here's something that I want to help. If you are a principal in a school right now and you're trying to recruit teachers, you call Lee and you get him to show your teachers the surrounding area, because your teachers that go to work for your school are not going to make any more money at your school than any other school. The kids are the same. I know you think yours are special, but they're the same as everywhere else, right? Your
Right.
curriculum is the same. Your pay is the same. What's not the same is the lifestyle. So let Lee show the lifestyle. He'll help you recruit more teachers. We'll get them hometown heroes. What a great way to help a teacher. And if you're in the healthcare industry, if you are trying to hire nurses or healthcare aides that are certified, let us help you. We'll help you recruit more people and get them into a home. Do you know, Lee, that if you're a business owner and your employees are homeowners, they will stay with you as a business owner 4 times longer than a renter? So we want to help more people become homeowners.
especially in this market when these rental rates are rental prices are
Oh,
just through the roof.
they're
It's just
continuing to go
ridiculous.
up. There's a
Well, they have
shortage of
to,
rental
because as long
properties.
as prices continue to go up, taxes are going to go up, and real estate investors have no option but to raise their rents. So
Absolutely. And if you want to know what rent control is, it's called a 30-year fixed rate mortgage.
that's
Here's
right.
rent control for you. Lee, I want to thank you for your time today. Your number is all attached to this webinar. You'll be able to see this on your YouTube page, on Facebook, on my YouTube page. We're going to blast it all out. If you are a real estate agent and you'd like to talk to Lee about opportunities at Real Broker, he's available to talk to you. If you are a hero and you want to start the process, give me a call. You can always go to webringyouhome.com or go right to Lee. We'll get you pre-approved and we'll get you into a house this year. All right. Thank
Hey,
you guys so much. And Lee, I appreciate you. You bring so much to the table.
Hey, Bruce, thanks for making us a part of this program with you. We really appreciate it. It was a honor to meet you. I was there for a reason. I know that it was to get this program off the ground. Cops and nurses and medical professionals and military are dear to our hearts here. So,
And the Lord has blessed us
that's
to be
right.
able to help each other and help more heroes. Signing off.
Thanks
You
a
guys
lot,
have
Bruce.
a great day and stay in touch, Lee. Okay.
All right. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
You bet.